Okay, today I'm going to be drawing a very unique comic book character, Deadpool. The reason why I say he's a very unique comic book character because the transitions he's taken over the years. He started out as a completely different character. He was originally created by Rob Liefeld. He debuted in the New Mutants number 98, issue 98, and he was a different type of character. He was more like an assassin type of character, very serious. He was a knockoff of Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, and I don't believe anybody debates that. I believe that's like a common knowledge.
He is 100% influenced. My buddy was drawing Spider-Man at the time, and he always taunted me that I didn't have a character as easy to draw as Spider-Man. He could make his deadlines. So Deadpool was kind of a deadline-inspired character. So I'm like, everybody in the book, I had like 7 lead characters, and they all had faces. So by creating Deadpool, he actually was a time saver. But my buddy would taunt me. So the reason he has the big eyes is like Spider-Man, except his are full of black, where Spider-Man's are big white, and then the red and the black. And when I pitched him to Marvel, I said, he's Spider-Man with katanas and machine guns, and he's a bigger jerk.
Thing now, but ironically, he's far more popular than Deathstroke ever was. Exactly, right now, anyway. And I gotta say, his movie last year, I was not excited about it at all. But after the movie came out, because you gotta think we had so many good comic book movies that were like hyped up last year. Civil War, Batman vs Superman, all these movies. But yet that was the movie to me that really stood out. I don't know why. It was far better than I thought it was gonna be.
Guys? Red! That's right! I can't believe it! I'm alive! I'm alive!
And I guess because I didn't read the comics as much as other people did, so they were more hyped about it or something. But I mean, there was a lot of people that talked about it, but not near as much. I mean, first time it was overshadowed because the first time we was gonna have Batman vs Superman, and he was also gonna have Captain America vs Iron Man, with Spider-Man being involved in it, which could have been way better had they got more characters in there like the Punisher and stuff. But to me, Deadpool was a really standout movie last year. I think it was one of the best movies that came out last year, not just one of the best comic book movies that came out. One thing I didn't understand about the movie, though, is why in the world they let Stan Lee do the cameo in it, because now a lot of people that's, just kind of new to the comics and stuff, they're going to go around thinking that Stan Lee created Deadpool, because, just common knowledge that Stan Lee created all these characters, and now people's going to be thinking, well, he created Deadpool because he cameo in it. But I think it's time that they give other artists their dues. And Rob Liefeld is one of the people that I feel like the comic book people that gets picked on more than anybody because of his art style, which kind of bums me out because I really love his art style. His art styles actually inspired me a lot in the 90s. I used to be able to go to comic book shops and get those comics on deal, and when I could, I really enjoyed it because I could just take home and practice drawing, and they he contributed a lot to the comic book industry that he doesn't get credit for. A lot of the guys in the 90s did, though, and they're not getting any kind of credit right now. I guess because they're just kind of basing it back on people like Jack Kirby and stuff who did stuff way back in the day. But a lot of stuff they're using now actually came from the 90s, like Deadpool is a perfect example. Gambit, none of that stuff was created back in the day. It wasn't created by the older folks that did comics. Even X-Men, to an extent, the X-Men were great, but where the X-Men without Wolverine, which was not created by Jack Kirby nor Stan Lee. So there's always that, I guess, but that's just the way things go. Speaking of his movie, there was a new teaser that was released yesterday or the day before called No Good Deeds, which is completely hilarious. But that's one of the things that I love about Deadpool is it's a comic book character that doesn't really take itself too serious. and it's very rare to find that in comic books anymore. I mean, we used to get it with the Tick. I mean, I used to love the Tick. I grew up. I would wait for the X-Men to come on, and then the Tick would come on. But it was kind of like that. Like if you remember if you know the show, remember Chairface Carson tried to carve his name on the moon, stuff like that. It's just this. It almost seems like something you could see in a Deadpool comic book or something like that. But I really enjoyed drawing Deadpool. Actually, this is really my first attempt at drawing him. Usually, the characters I mainly draw is Hulk, Spider-Man, Spawn. I got a lot of Spawn. I mean, I've been drawing Spawn since I was a teenager. He was always my favorite comic book character. But him and Deadpool has very similar features. Even their
He's when I pitched the origin, I always wanted to tie him into the origin of Wolverine, and because Wolverine was my favorite character, and Wolverine was originally called Weapon X, and I called it Marvel. I said, is there a weapon that means Weapon X means Open 10? And they said yes. And I said, so have you introduced Weapon 9? In my knowledge, they hadn't. I just wanted to clear it. And they said no. I said, all right, Deadpool is the one that they messed up on before they perfected it. So he was the one before Wolverine, and they cleared all of it. So he was always tied in.
Their logos are completely almost identical. So I don't know if that has a lot to do with the guys that made Spawn and Deadpool were friends or whatever. Maybe, I don't know. But there's a lot of things about Deadpool that's completely different now. So that's the thing with most comic book characters is over the years they have so many people that work on them, and it's like, I mean, most of them never end up the way they started. Like Wolverine was like that too. I mean, I remember whenever there was a 80s Spider-Man cartoon and Wolverine had an Australian accent or something like that, and it was really weird because it's back at the time when
they were now, I think they thought that gimmicks sold covers, so a glow-in-the-dark Ghost Rider and an acetate, Power Man with an animation cell. Those fell flat. They didn't do like high sales, and because I think Marvel was like, it's our gimmicks that are selling these. We put 5 X-Force covers out, and we put 5 Spider-Man covers out, and we put 8 X-Men covers out. It's us. It's not you. It was us. And I think what happened in '91 has dictated the last 20 years of Marvel Comics, and how artists, you don't get to tell us jack anymore. It's a writer-driven TV room concept where we build a corporate strategy, and therefore really nobody gets to take a bow. Marvel takes the bow. I tell people all the time, Marvel has turned into a company that wants you to think that you press a button. There's a Marvel button in a room where you go, and a character comes out. Marvel made it. It's the Marvel button. And that's really kind of like, they don't ever say Rob Liefeld created Deadpool. I got to tell people, Rob Liefeld created Deadpool. They want you to believe that there was a button in a room that you hit, and Deadpool spit out. And
90s X-Men was out, and he had this really rugged voice, and it's just weird hearing him talk Australian. But over the years, I mean, you have all kinds of people that come in and go on comic books, and like Frank Miller's a perfect example. I mean, where would Batman be without Dark Knight Returns, or things like that? So, I mean, over the years, you just have a lot of people that have influence on the comics, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. I mean, and Batman been around so long it needed a reboot, and that's that apparently Deadpool did too, because I mean, it just wasn't doing very good before this new personality. I mean, I don't think you would have seen a standalone Deadpool movie had Deadpool stayed with the same type of personality that he had before. I just don't think that would have been in the cards for him. But he's had a lot of success of recent, and the new trailer or teaser just dropped, No Good Deed, which is pretty awesome. You need to check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I had to speed the film up here because I was like, whenever I originally do these, they end up like 3 or 4 hours. This one was 3 hours and 40 minutes or something like that. Took me a long time to record it because I also did color on it too. So that was a little bit. What sucks is because the movie maker that I use, it doesn't show you like all this stuff moving. It like skips a lot, and I didn't know how it was going to come out. Come out much better after I went back and watched the video than I thought it was. So, but Deadpool's a pretty awesome character. He's actually one of the few characters, and I don't think they'd ever do it, but if they could actually get him in a Mortal Kombat game, he would like fit right in because he's almost like in a ninja type costume, like the ninjas like Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Actually, I remember when DC vs Mortal Kombat came out, and everybody was saying they wished it would have been Marvel, but I don't think Marvel would have ever been a part of a Mortal Kombat game. And maybe they would have, because the Mortal Kombat game sucked because they took the fatalities out of it anyway. But I mean, with characters like Deadpool, you could have easily, pulled that off had Marvel would have let them. But then they might not have, you never know, because Marvel's owned by Disney now. And one of the things that's shocking to me is Disney hasn't tried to pull any of the Deadpool titles, or kind of, because they've done like they've done with the Fantastic Four and Wolverine. Because to me, the movies that they made on those movies like suck. Like Fantastic Four sucked. The Wolverine movie sucked. They said 2 was good. I haven't watched it yet just because the first one was so bad. I mean, after you see Deadpool in that first movie, it's pretty hard to imagine, to give that another chance. I probably will watch it eventually, though. And another thing that bugs me about Wolverine is the fact that they've been doing Wolverine movies for almost 20 years now, and he still doesn't have a mask on. And it's one of those cases to me, like, look, you people need to get with the times. It's like 2017. There's no excuse for Wolverine. They can make an Iron Man suit. They've made a suit for Spawn. They made a accurate costume for the Crow. I mean, way back in the 90s, they've made Power Ranger costumes. I mean, there is no excuse that Wolverine can't have his costume. And that's one of the things that kills me about the whole X-Men franchise. But I think that Fox, the only comic book movie they've ever done that was any good was Deadpool. I mean, the X-Men movies are just atrocious to me. I mean, I am not a fan, and I hope they don't ever mix them, because, I mean, with the Deadpool movie, they nailed the Colossus character. I mean, compare it to the X-Men's version of Colossus. I mean, they took what was on the comic page and put it in reality. And they did the same thing with Deadpool, a bunch of, and if the Deadpool people could have done the X-Men, that would have been great to actually have a Wolverine costume on Hugh Jackman, but it is what it is. So anyway, this is just about over, and I just wanted to thank you if you watched it. Don't forget to check out my other artwork. I'll probably try to upload something again next week. It'll probably be something Spawn related. I'm eventually going to get around to do that Hulk versus Spider-Man picture. If you want any of my artwork or get on my Facebook or anything like that, all the links are down at the bottom. Thanks for watching.